It's a brand new episode of Bad Advice with Chris Cubis, the show where unqualified people give unsolicited advice. This is a wild episode. I'm joined by two of the funniest people on the planet, returning guest Amy Miller and comedian Marcella Arguello. The pros of bullying. Someone on the podcast vomits. This is a weird episode, baby. Check it out. We appreciate you sticking with us. Your comments on the reviews have been super nice. Your tweets have been nice, so we appreciate you checking out another episode. Enough of my bullshit. Before I do that, get vaccinated. You can do it now. Like, it's not the easiest thing in the world to, find, but it's getting more and more. Like, I got it because I'm fat. You can get it for any number of reasons. So, go get your vaccine. Get that shit done so we can get back to life. I am joined today by two fucking hilarious comics who also are mildly intimidating. First up, Amy Miller. How are you?
I'm good. I tried to get it, and I tried to get the shot, and I wasn't fat enough.
Oh,
really?
Yeah. Oh, don't be so shocked, Marcella.
I am.
That's Marcella Arguello, by the way.
I've seen that ass. I'm shocked.
Yeah, I was not technically obese. I was surprised.
Wow.
I wonder if the rules are, maybe it's like a California, Texas, there, you don't have to be that. Everybody's already fat enough, so they're like, "Have you been to San Antonio? You're fat enough." You can
I don't know. I mean, for comedy, I'm so obese. So
yeah, that's true.
For streaming, I'm the fattest.
That's also Marcella Arguello, who's throwing out the insults. But I didn't want to say it. I'm not going to say it.
You better not, you sexist prick.
Certainly not. I sent her an email to do this podcast, and Marcella asked, is it a video or audio only? And I was like, oh yeah, I'm not making anybody put on makeup to do this podcast. And she was like, it's not just makeup, I got to know about contacts. Do I need to slouch? Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh God damn it. Did I
Lighting,
fuck this up already?
Everything. I mean, that's the thing. No, you didn't fuck it up. I'm direct. I like to be clear. I ask the questions that I need answers. I don't fuck around.
And
yet I still look adorable, but this, how you guys are seeing me right now, is not how I really want to present myself to the world.
I feel that. Marcella, can you get the vaccine if you have gigantism?
Wow, what a bitch. I haven't seen Amy, haven't spoken to her in years. And here we are. Wow. I'm so nice to you. I don't know where that came from.
Not years. It's been a year. And Chris, it was really funny. The last time we saw each other, Marcella was like, we got to make an effort to hang out more often. I was like,
see each
what
other,
kind of drugs did this bitch take today? She's being so nice. And then the pandemic started the next week.
I just was like, I was at a time where, and I'm even more clear with it, but I was so exhausted. I was just because I'm starting to do Zoom shows now. So I listened to my last set from March 8th at the Punchline Sacramento. I was headlining, and I listened to it once before last year, the middle of the year, and it was fine. And when I listened to it this week, I was like, I sound exhausted. I was tired. And some of the material I was trying to pass off, whoa, girl, this, I don't know where your mind was at, but this shit is not funny.
It's one of those things where you can't notice when you're in it. You know what I mean? When you're that exhausted and that run down, and you're just used to getting through it, then you don't know until you step back a little bit to be like, oh no, that's not what I'm supposed to sound like.
Yeah, but it took a year for me to realize, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I should at least be like, that joke is great.
I felt it. I was on the road a ton too. And I felt like you were in that spot too, where you're like, I'm just so sick of talking to male comedians. I really need to just reach out.
Well, and that's why Women Crush.
You grabbed me and looked me in the eyes.
I did, because Women Crush
I
Wednesdays.
I stand on a chair.
Yeah, I pulled her up, but I couldn't because she's a beast.
Not enough, though.
I know, not enough. And that's why I always liked Women Crush. It's I could book women that I admire or I think are funny or I just want to be pals with. Right. And then it's I see them, and then I do try to do my best to be oh yeah, I love female friendship. But you have to make an effort,
Yeah.
All friendship, you have to make an effort, but.
Last week we started talking about the movie Punchline and how there is a comedy locker room at the comedy club, the Tom Hanks movie. There's a locker room, and how just awful. Amy, you were saying you're tired of talking to male comedians. Can you imagine the male comedian locker room situation? Just how untenable. Just the people that aren't on the show.
And how smelly. It would be so smelly.
Be disgusting. Just mildew. Yeah, I don't even want to think about it.
Like, you need to clean out your locker. There's a sandwich in there from 2 weeks ago. And then we would be cleaning it and they like wouldn't say thank you.
Yeah.
Something tells me Marcella's not cleaning anybody's locker.
I mean, if I'm fucking him, I might.
Yeah, there's sure. But that's more for your own proximity to the stink.
And she is true. The dirtiest ones.
Always. What's wrong with me?
The oldest sandwich.
I like having two mean people on this show.
I like how you didn't say women. You were very careful.
Oh, no. Don't get me wrong. I like having two women on the show as well. But I like you two specifically because I knew sometimes people come on the show and they're a little too, they don't want to like judge the writers of these letters, or they don't want to come across
what
as
a nightmare. What is comedy?
Like, what are we doing? Why are we I'm not reading this 60-year-old white guy's letter to the editor for like to learn from it. Can we have some fun?
So do you really take Dear Abby letters?
These are specifically from Dear Abby. I probably should stop saying that. I feel like I'm going to get sued, but these are specifically from the Dear Abby archive. They're all online. I try to get mostly new recent ones because sometimes you get too old. The world's just too different. You know what I mean? People are writing weird shit. But yeah,
women have rights. You're like, ma'am, women have rights now. This doesn't apply.
Oh, by the way, so many still just old men that haven't figured that out. Not yet. There who's writing to this fucking person.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I think it's fine to steal them. She's not even Abby anymore. It's like, who is it? You know?
Sure.
I mean, it's all public property.
It's free. You don't have to sign up. Like her website is completely public. It's in the newspaper. So I
do like that you're scared. That's always fun. It's always fun when a host of a podcast is scared. That's nice.
Well, let's go ahead and see how we do with some of these letters. First up, this feels like it speaks to the both of you. Dear Abby, my daughter is a tall, thin, blonde-haired, blue-eyed bully. She calls out girls at school. She calls other girls at school fat and ugly to the point of bringing them to tears.
This is so funny.
The mothers,
did we just recap the first 3 minutes of the show?
I picked these 2 days ago, so this worked out very well for me. The mothers complained to the teacher, who calls me and her father. Today, her teacher told me that a schoolmate asked my daughter for a piece of candy, and she replied, "You don't need it. You're fat enough already."
So funny.
The kicker, Abby, my daughter's only 5. I don't know where she learns. I don't know where she learns these things. We've always taught our children never to call names or pick on others because they're different. I don't believe you. She has certainly never heard things like that at home. That's not true. Her older brother is a sweet, well-mannered child who has never given us a moment's trouble. Is she just spoiled, or is this something serious we should be worried about? Signed, Disturbed Mom in Delaware. What do you mean? No, go ahead, Amy.
She sounds like a fun gal.
She sounds perfect to me.
It sounds to me like she wanted to keep her fucking candy. You know, like, why are you asking me for this? By the way, I'm so tired of the word bully. You know, we were just talking about like the fucking punchline locker room. Like, if that existed, like dudes would be in there fucking busting balls or whatever. It's like when Marcella and I say rude things, we're bullies and we're bitches, but like,
right.
I thought we were supposed to bust balls.
I love when women are mean. It's just funny.
It's funnier, I think, when women are mean than when men are mean. Because I think when men, so I do agree with you, Amy, but I also do think there has to be some level of like reciprocity a little bit. If you're just
shut up, Chris.
Twice.
See now, but that's just
times
quality comedy. I appreciate it. But you know, like if you're like with a bunch of randoms and you all just decide we're just going to bust balls, but it's only Steve's balls. Well, now you're all just kind of picking on Steve, particularly if you know Steve can't fucking go back at you. This girl does feel a little like I'm not getting the
sound weak right now. That's for sure.
I knew it was coming.
It's really funny when children are mean too. Like there's nothing funnier than that ever.
A 5-year-old, that made me laugh very hard.
It's really funny.
But at some point, like, all right, I'm talking to the wrong people about this, but at some point,
look.
Where does bullying become where does this become a problem? Where does it become from being funny to being a toxic person you don't want to fucking be around? You know what I'm saying?
Right. Which, I mean, that's still a question I'm trying to figure out. Where is that balance? I couldn't tell you. I'm still trying to figure it out.
She's been locked up for a year, just missing the worst people she knows.
Oh my God, I wish. There's some people I just want to be mean to, because it was just so fun. It's also just like, I mean, I see what you're saying, and there is some point to it because it's happening at school, and it's like, it's not necessary, but also like, I mean, I don't want to share my candy. And sometimes here's the thing about bluntness that people don't actually do kind of, I should say they do respect it. And I will say this because I was just having a conversation with a friend who, she's a sweetie pie. She is like everyone else, locked down in COVID. And she's kind of like been overwhelmed by like how much people want to interact with her. And it's just too much for her. And she doesn't know how to say no. And she says yes to everything. And she doesn't know how to set boundaries. And so I was like, damn, it's so nice being a known bitch because nobody oversteps a boundary with me. People do not overstep with me. And I love that. It's such a fucking blessing. So like, I love that. I hear what you're trying to say, Chris.
Yeah. And I may not be saying it particularly well.
It's just that I think that the parents are confused, which is often what happens when like you have like a sweetie pie son, our little perfect, probably homosexual son. He's so perfect. Why can't our daughter be more like our sweetie pie son, as opposed to just being like talking to her like she talks to these kids? Like, you call that little girl a cunt, she's gonna be like, oh my God, my mom called me a cunt. What's happening? And you know, she'll react better to like how she's treating other people. Just treat her the same way, and she might like be into that, and she'll be like, oh, I get what you're saying. This is kind of mean. Oh, all right, if it's too much. But I love that she is setting her own boundaries with people.
Absolutely. And I think that is something particularly like, and me talking out of my ass as a man, but it's something I think girls are kind of trained not to do. So the fact that she's doing it, I think is awesome. There is, however, and I'm going to be speaking as the victim of bullying, the fat
speaking
black
as
kid.
A bitch,
speaking strictly as a bitch. There is a difference between setting a boundary. Like, you can say, I don't want to give you my candy. It's mine. That is a boundary. You're a fat asshole is not it's the same as setting a boundary. Like,
maybe she hates this person. We don't know the story of who this person is. We don't know anything about this background of this
might
person.
have been bullied by this little obese girl. We don't know. But I think she's probably an asshole. And I mean, obviously we're fucking around. Like, it is going to it's going to need to be addressed at some point. Because she's also, the other thing is she's going to get punched in the face. You know, it sounds like she's at a very safe elementary school where no one will punch her in the face. But if they move, you know, to a city, she can't just be calling kids fat asses. Like,
maybe she can. Maybe she's going to have a nice, strong right hook, and maybe she'll fucking conquer the world. We don't know. She'll be the next Kamala Harris. We don't know.
Yeah, who's a bitch, by the way?
Well, doesn't have a great track record, you know?
Yeah, she bullied a lot of black kids into prison. So, like, but
and their moms,
100%.
You never know. She could make history.
I do think
whatever
you're on to something, because like when she's 5, she's tall, she's all these things. So like she's at a position now where she's going to be allowed to get away with a lot of shit that's not necessarily going to fly by the time she gets to high school. You know, and other kids are going to get tall.
Chris.
Other kids are going to also get tall. But I mean by get away with, she's taller than the other kids. The way they say this about her being tall and thin, so she's bigger. So she's allowed to get away with shit because other kids aren't tall enough to fucking swing on her chin. When she hits high school and everybody's growth spurts catching up and she starts catching hands, that's not true. Okay.
I'm telling you, as a 6'2" woman, that's not true.
As a 6 foot bully,
here's what happens.
Yeah.
You align with these other tall freaks and people who could potentially be bullies. And then you create a nice old bullying crew. I mean, look, the options are endless with this little angel of a 5-year-old who's a complete bitch, and good for her. I think more women should be bitches when they're young.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that argument at all. And I think
it should be easier for her to keep her candy. I don't know why this is an issue. Just like put it on your hat.
I mean,
no one can get up there.
Here's the other thing we're not what we should ask is the little girl ugly, this 5-year-old bitch. She might be ugly as shit. She might be tall, blonde hair, blue eyes. That's fine, but she could be getting bullied by somebody. I mean, you don't know. We don't know the whole story. We got to hear from the 5-year-old. I can't take any of this serious unless I hear from this child.
That is also very much the dilemma of Dear Abby, having done this podcast for a while now. You get everybody writing a letter. I've said this before on the podcast. You write the letter to make your side of the argument look good. Nobody's writing both sides of the argument, right?
Yeah, so just like that Woody Allen documentary.
Exactly.
Bunch of propaganda.
Yeah. Because also, like, she's like, me and my husband. It's like, what if the husband's, speaking of Woody Allen, you don't know what's going on in this house. You don't know what's going on in this house.
This tall girl is being molested, Chris,
she could be.
And
you don't know.
Are blaming her for everything.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
Could be angry.
I want to throw this out there. They talk about how they didn't raise their, we raise our kids to not make fun of other people's appearance and blah, blah, blah. I don't know that I believe you, but also this is a little personal story. My parents did. My parents were very much like, you don't make fun of kids. People are different or whatever. However, the one time a year we were allowed to was we would watch the Miss America.
You were
pageant.
allowed to? That's hilarious.
As a family, we
Christopher, today you have the permission to make fun of anyone on their parents.
Literally what it was we once a year we would watch like the Miss America pageant or the Miss the whatever Miss World. And while watching that, it was like, as a family, encouraged to just be like, look at this big nose bitch, like to just
wow, the most beautiful women collected together. And you wonder why the patriarchy continues.
You're just roasting anorexics, and that's fun in the Cubis household.
It was my mother's idea, and I think it means that we were just real ugly. I think we as a family decided
you
as
picked
an
the hottest
family. Yeah. We had to pick hot.
She was like,
hard.
Chris, you can't make fun of other kids' appearances because you look crazy. And they're going to come back hard.
Yeah.
But also, I love also just being like, look, you can't make fun of ugly people for being ugly, but hot people, they had it coming.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. I think you're probably right. This girl's going to be fine. I don't really even have advice for her other than...
She sounds powerful.
Shadow box a little bit. Get ready to throw hands if you need to. Amy, did you say she's a bitch?
Yeah, she's not good.
She's a mother. She's a sinner. She's a saint.
We can go ahead and move on to a new letter.
No, we can't go ahead and move on. How dare you pick that with us?
Well,
Marcella,
look,
why are you moving around so much?
I have some pain issues. I'm sorry. That's why I keep moving. I have
from your gigantism.
That is a prescription hat, Amy. She needs that.
Yeah. I'm just like, I can't get comfortable.
This is why she needs to keep her candy. You deserve it. You're in pain.
Oh my God, thank you so much. Wish I had candy right now.
I don't think this applies to either of us, but let's get into it because I think you'll enjoy the drama. Dear Abby.
Presumptuous.
I know, but hear me out. Dear Abby.
You're the worst podcast host I've ever done. I can't even
I recently retired and moved to a small town in Washington where I began attending the local church. Last Sunday, a new assistant pastor was introduced along with his wife, Millie. Abby, Millie is the woman who broke up my marriage 10 years ago. It was so painful and ugly, I have never remarried. Millie, on the other hand, appears to have erased from her biography 2 previous marriages, countless affairs, my husband was one, and a short stint in prison for drugs. Ooh. She is now, and this is what irks me, teaching marriage classes. She doesn't recognize me. The last 10 years have been hard on me. I've put on weight and stopped coloring my hair, among other things. If Millie was just a member of the congregation, I could forgive her past sins, but Millie is lying to everyone, maybe even her clueless husband. Should I stay quiet and watch this farce, inform the senior pastor, or drive 30 minutes to attend another church? And yes, I'm sure it's her. There's no doubt about it. Signs, Hates Hypocrites in Washington.
Oh my God. Well, first of all, why can't she teach marriage classes? She has a lot of experience being up in marriages.
Yeah, that's true.
Hers and other people's.
Yeah, she definitely has more experience in marriage than this hating ass cunt. This jealous cunt.
She's real mad. Amy, I'm pretty sure you were like churchy growing up. Is that right?
Yes, I was very churchy.
As was I.
I was coming to ask. I don't know.
You don't have a podcast about it, though.
That's true. You're right. That's true.
I know Amy have been on her podcast. Are you? I did not grow up in a church. Was not a churchy person. Was this sort of the drama? Like, or are you like familiar? Is this church drama seem similar or like familiar to you?
I mean, yeah, there's always church drama. Everybody's looking at everybody else to see what they're doing wrong so that nobody looks at them. And that's like the whole game. You know what I mean? You're supposed to be pure and perfect. And it's very damaging. I mean, I thought like I was probably like 6 years old and thought I was just sinning all the time and was for sure going to hell. Like I wasn't doing anything. I was
the opposite. I was a perfect little angel. I was a little bit of a cunt at school.
Bully.
I know. And I didn't feel bad about it. I was like, I was
really sweet. Like just the little sweetest little bastard child with strawberry blonde hair you've ever seen. Not fat yet, just the right amount of chubby. And I just constantly felt so guilty. Like for what? I wasn't doing anything wrong. It wasn't even like, I wouldn't say bad words or watch rated R movies. Yeah, this is the whole church game. It's just like, what is she doing? That's wrong. I'm going to tell the pastor. Don't fucking snitch. First of all, maybe she's turned her life around. You know what I mean? It's like, it's just... that let her leave that past behind her. It's like there have been a couple comics who moved to LA from the Bay Area, and I'm like, should I tell everyone this guy's an asshole, or should I just wait for him to show it, or should I be open to the possibility that he has changed and he's turning his life around? Kasim.
Hey, that's so funny. He sent me an apology text and I was like, you should apologize to all the women you were fucking over. Not me. We were pals. Anyways.
I think you hit the nail on the head. One, don't snitch. And two, like she went to prison. Isn't that where people find God? Like, isn't that the whole thing? So maybe she's turned it around. I also don't necessarily believe that this one thing is what made this woman's entire life fall apart. Like
I disagree with that.
Okay.
Because you can have really severe PTSD from one incident in your life, especially if she's like a really church-going person. She really was like, I was going to be married to this one person, and we couldn't make it work. And now I'm like, am I even capable of love again? All that shit that kind of goes with religion, but. You know, I mean, this is a fucked up one because what Amy's saying is true, but like this woman has like a lot of mental health issues. The one that wrote in, you know, she does. She's like unresolved PTSD and just depression. She needs to work on forgiving herself. Okay, that's where the first forgiveness comes.
Forgive God.
Yeah, forgive God for betraying you with this whore coming into your family's life and ruining it.
There also does feel, though, that, like, while, yes, you don't need to snitch, I do think maybe you need to address this situation with if you've been going to this church, again, I'm not a church person, but if you've been going there, this is your place. It's like if this was your club and suddenly this person from your past shows up, you're going to have to address it. Otherwise, it's just going to be this fucking elephant in the room. You know what I mean? Like, you might have to talk to her.
I mean, I do like that she's like, I've completely let myself go. And this woman is acting like she doesn't know who I am. It's like, bitch, you don't know who you are.
I mean, it also just never works out. Listen, have I gone to comedy club bookers and said, this guy is for sure a rapist and you should not headline him? Yes. Did it result in me losing work? Every time.
Certainly. Yeah. That makes sense.
Let's just chill out.
I'm not saying she needs to address it with the.
I love that that's Amy's advice. Let's just chill out.
Everybody just chill out
and relax.
I'm sorry, Chris, I cut you off for the millionth time.
No, you're absolutely fine. I planned on it when I started this podcast.
Wow.
When he had women on, he was going to be interrupted.
Not women, you two women specifically.
Wow. I'm just going to keep saying wow every chance we get.
That's all you need. But you don't think she has any need for her, like, to address it with the other woman? You don't think that
if she needs that to move on,
right?
Then sure. I mean, I I don't fully agree with this mentality that a lot of people carry, that they need to have like closure with the person to be able to move on. You have to have closure with yourself to be able to move on.
Agreed.
Because she could die tomorrow, and then what? And then what are you mad at? Like, why did you? Yeah, because it's like you let yourself go, and now this woman is dead. Girl, grow up.
Yeah, grow up. I think that's going to be the advice for Our Lady in the Church.
Chill out and grow up.
Chill out. If you're reporting a rape, just chill out about it, and also grow up.
Why'd you have to bring rape into this, Chris?
Wow, Chris.
Wow.
You do know this is recorded. Everyone knows you brought it up. But that's
wow.
the whole point of this, recorded.
What?
So it's our fault now.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Blame the victim. Now, Chris.
Yeah.
Blaming the victim.
That's me. The name of this podcast.
Fully laying down now.
It's Blame the Victim. Yeah.
God, Amy, we should have a podcast.
You really should. I should just turn this off. I'll send you guys.
Wow.
I like to pull clips, and I'm just going to pull a 1-minute clip of just the wows.
Wow, Chris.
Next.
Wow.
Dear Abby, I am 76. My wife is 65. Our neighbor Roy is retired, but probably less than 60 years old. The fence between Roy's property and ours is 6 feet tall, but the wood has shrunk, and there are gaps of about
a math problem? Do I need a
still
pencil?
coming.
What the
homeowner problem?
Just wait. Just give it a second.
Okay.
And there are gaps of about 1.5 inches or more between the boards. Excuse me, I started choking. Abby, Roy likes to work nude in his backyard and has told my wife he does this. Otherwise, he seems like a decent fellow. He's given my wife nectarines from over the fence, which is as close as I want his naked presence to my wife. Roy insists he has the right to go naked in his own backyard. Unfortunately, my wife agrees and tells me she's not looking. I have asked her not to accept any more gifts from over the fence and to keep her contact with him to a minimum. Am I being foolish? How would you recommend I handle this? Signed, Too Close for Comfort in California.
I'm picturing like instead, Wilson on Home Improvement, instead of the top half of his face is just his dick and balls.
Just a little bit poking over and
draped through the fence at all times. I mean, first of all, he's growing his own nectarines. I love California. What a beautiful place we live in. You don't have to buy fruit ever.
That is what neighbors do. My mother trades her fruits with the other neighbors, and they put fruits over in a bag. I mean, that's just courtesy amongst neighbors. I mean, it just sounds like he doesn't want to be. I mean, what he should do is go, hey, we need a new fence. Let's go half, is what neighbors do. Homeowners do. They go halfsies on a fence, and they get. I mean, now the fences are like fucking 7 feet tall. And like my mom just had a fence done on one side, and they split the cost with the neighbor. It's like 7 feet tall. I'm 6'2". Now I finally can't see over the fence, which is very nice. I wish it would wrap all the way around.
And like you're walking around naked back there.
I would if it was completely sealed off the 3 sides, but it's not. But I was like, ooh, this is so nice. Now like, I don't have because we had a creep on the other side, and it's like, oh, this is nice. It's like to not because she has a pool, so it's like you don't have to worry about that creepy shit anymore. Well, the one neighbor, we have the other two. But yeah,
I don't understand why does he start the letter like, oh, I'm so chill with this, and then by the end we don't talk to him anymore.
He's not chill with this at all.
Yeah,
I do think it is kind of funny that he includes the size of the gaps between the wood, because like that means his wife is pressed up against that fence looking through the gaps in the wood, which I enjoy.
Roy's big old dong.
Let his wife have some fun.
That's true too. I mean, it's also just, I mean, I remember Greg Edwards years ago, like, I don't know, probably 10 years ago. And this has stuck with me ever since, because he's been in the same committed relationship for a very long time. And then we were just talking about
that he was a hoe.
And before that he was a hoe. Thank you, Amy. She knows. And he was like telling, because like I was like noticing that he was flirting with somebody once. And he was like, girl, this is all I have. All I have is just a little flirting. That's all I have, because I know I'm going to be loyal to Janelle like forever and ever and ever. But like every now and again, I just need to know that I still got it, you know?
Right.
And it's like, that's what's kind of going on with these two until they cheat. But, you know, I mean, he has to have faith that his hoe-eyed wife is going to be faithful to him. Also, I'm telling you, you just need to go have to on a new fence and get a modern fence. I'm telling you.
That would fix everything. Absolutely.
She just keeps buying ladders and binoculars.
I mean, but that's the thing. If she does, then that's how you know it's a real issue. But like this fool, he just sounds too insecure to be like, we need a new fence. But
I mean, he's clearly insecure, but also like, and let me not, no, he is clearly insecure, 100%.
100%.
He is. That is absolutely the problem here. However, how comfortable are you with your significant other constantly talking to your naked neighbor? You know what I mean? Like while they're naked. That is a interesting situation to be in from. I don't know this man's name. Too close for comfort.
Honestly, that would have been nice, especially in the past year. You know what I mean? We're trapped together. It's like if the neighbor wants to show me his hog, perfect. Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna touch it, but
or
like
piglet. If he wants to show you his piglet,
yeah, you just want to see it. I get it, but like
see a different one, like ever.
He's also 76. Can we be real?
I mean, that's the other.
I don't want to. None of these old ass naked people run. This is just real sex. Like I don't like on HBO. Nobody wants to see those people.
It's also just like funny. You know what I mean? When like a very old person is just like, I just want to be free, and you're just like, you be free, but I'm gonna watch because this is hilarious.
100%.
Okay, I'm glad you brought this up, Chris, because I'm not even shitting you. I was like watching. When I was living in Oakland, I was watching an old episode of Real Sex. Just as it was hilarious.
Sure.
I did see my actual neighbor on the foot fetish episode of Real Sex, and I was like, I'll never look at this dude the same. Now I've seen it all, but I also, you know, it was fine.
Sure. How old was your neighbor?
He wasn't super old. I mean, he was like in his late 40s, early 50s.
Yeah.
He used to own the Parkway. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter, but it is interesting as someone who's watched a lot of HBO's Real Sex because I grew up pre-internet.
Pervert. You grew up a pervert.
I grew up a hardcore pervert. I liked old people sitting on balloons and all that weird shit that was always on that show. Some old woman in Sedona teaching a man how to digitally stimulate his wife. That's 100% into it. But that being said, I grew up pre-internet porn. So like Real Sex was the thing. Like you watched what you had, and we watched a lot of Real Sex. And then one time I watched it on mushrooms, and it was weird.
I mean, it was always weird, Chris. A mushroom just highlighted it. It exposed you to you. Which is what mushrooms do.
That's the whole point.
You to you.
They did it. They did exactly what they were supposed to do. I think we can say to Roy,
how cute she is.
Pick a new fan or
Amy's
whatever.
Talking about me, guys.
Of course. We knew that.
I'm sorry, Chris. What?
No, you're good. I was just going to say get a new fence. And Roy, like it's your house, man. You get to walk around naked all you want, but also here's the thing. You got to know people are going to look at you. But if you're walking around in your backyard naked, you kind of want that. So like, good for you.
All these letter writers are liars and cowards.
Yes. Thank you, Amy.
I don't respect a single one of these fools.
That's probably for the best because they're all
Me too.
Monsters.
They're losers. I wouldn't say they're monsters. They're just losers.
Like, fix your own problem. Abby cannot help you. Abby... She probably wants to see Roy's hog.
Yeah, piglet. He might have a little piglet.
She's an old pervert.
But I mean, I feel like Dear Abby was like people's therapist before they could accept that therapy was real, right?
Yeah, this is like, you didn't have the internet. You didn't have people you could like, you didn't have a anonymous way of posting your feelings to someone. So this is what you had.
Reddit, what is it when they do the... 25 female. Yeah, am I the asshole? Thank you.
Yeah. Dear Abby, my son Max is 14. We've always been able to talk about everything, and I've always told him he could trust me and his father. I'm very proud.
Every letter also starts with this person being a fucking angel.
Ego. The fucking ego on these people.
Yesterday, I was shocked speechless because Max shaved his legs. Although I almost had a heart attack, I tried to remain calm. He says that all his friends are doing it and that the girls like it. His father sat down with him and told him that men do not shave their legs. My son says it is the fashion and hairy legs are not in. Max is a wonderful young man. People always tell me how lucky we are to have such a terrific son. Am I overreacting? I'm confused and beginning to feel the generation gap. Signed, Worried Mom in Puerto Rico.
Oh,
in Puerto Rico.
Not a generation gap. It's just the dude wanted to shave his legs. You know, some people have sensory issues. They can't have a lot of hair on their body. Maybe he wants to be faster.
Yes, this also straight. You these are all old Dear Abby letters, right?
Nope.
Really? These are new?
Yes, ma'am. The oldest one I think I picked today was 2018. So a couple are a little old, but nothing
shave
like
his little legs.
I mean, I always think about how, especially in Latin American countries, like that metrosexuality shit is always like the in and out of fad, in and out of fashion, I should say. And I mean, that's all it is. I mean, it's Puerto Rico. I mean, he might be a little gay. He's only
she's worried about.
Yeah, exactly. He's 14. And also like, I think I remember like a straight guy in high school shaving his leg. He was straight and he still is straight, but it was that thing of like, oh my God, look what he's doing. And it's just, it's all because exactly. Cause like my nephew, he's 17 and every now and again, he'll be like, I'm going to paint my fingernails. And just for the reaction from his dad, because his dad is just so like very machismo and all like that brainwashing that a lot of Latin American men have in them. And
my father's from Honduras, and one time when I was little, maybe 6 or 7, I was real little. My mother and my aunt were painting my sister's nails, and my sister was getting
America pageant,
just ripping some women to shreds. And my sister was getting attention, so I also wanted attention. So I was like, "Oh, paint my nails." I'm 6 or whatever. Yeah. So they painted like a couple of my toenails or whatever. I was like, "Oh, I'm in." And my dad
beat you 100%.
100%. That's exactly what happened. So I know. Yeah, of course you know. But my point is that I think a lot. As I was reading the letter, I was like, "Oh, this is like weird middle America." But then as soon as I hit the woman in Puerto Rico,
exactly.
I was like, "Oh, I got it.
That's exactly where my brain was too. I was when you said Puerto Rico, I was like, oh geez, because the machismo is ingrained in the women too. And but of course, if like the dad is in the house, it's all bad news. But it could also just be. It could be gay. It could be just needing a reaction, needing attention, whatever.
He just wants to be able to swim away real fast when the floods happen and the United States government sends no help whatsoever.
Political. You're right. It's a political move. She's right about the.
There's also
a political activist.
There's also the chance that maybe girls in Puerto Rico right now are into boys with shaved legs. He's like, he says like, the girls like it. Maybe they do. I don't fucking know.
They do. Cause like Bad Bunny is popular for a reason because he's very like playing with, I mean, cause at this point it's beyond metrosexuality, right? It's just like straight up fucking with the gender norms and the gender stereotypes and really like giving a big fuck you to that. Again, the machismo mentality. So that's interesting. That's so cute. It's so sad.
Yeah, it is a little sad because like this boy has to deal with these parents who are, sitting him down to have these really serious talks. And he's meanwhile just like, I don't know, I shaved my legs.
He's like, I'm going to shave my legs, mama.
That's a good
Hijo, no. Not your legs.
Yo, no.
Not allowed.
Mama, I'm going to shave my legs. Yeah, you are. You're a white comedian. You can do whatever you want.
Thank you. I'm a girl one.
I mean,
they don't let us do that.
I mean,
it depends on the audience you're in front of. Are you opening for Tim Dillon or,
if he needs somebody.
I bet.
We gotta take that check. Let's go ahead. We can go on to another one. My husband and I just got married. We have only one problem, his ex-girlfriend. She used to be my best friend, but we fell out years ago. She hadn't contacted him in a long time, but since she found out we got married, she's been texting him begging to meet up. She messaged me once asking for all of us to get together, but then she messages him to meet her alone and talk, quote unquote. He ignores her and shows me the messages. Should I step in and tell her to back off or ignore her as he is doing? I trust and love my husband, but she's becoming a pest and starting to annoy me and him. Signed.
Oh, he's not annoyed. He loves this shit.
Every minute.
Look at these messages. She won't stop asking me about my big cock. What do I do?
Nobody doesn't like attention on some level. Like, I'm not saying that he wants to necessarily cheat on his wife, but nobody doesn't like other people wanting to fuck them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm just kind of confused by this history of like, my ex-best friend used to be with this guy, and now I'm with this guy. It's like, we're going into this messy. Like, this is messy going in. Like, she's acting innocent, and I just don't believe or trust any. Again, these people, they try to act like they didn't do any. Yeah, they're losers. They act like they did nothing wrong.
This sounds like a letter from the other lady in the church scenario.
Right.
We're getting another story now.
Absolutely.
And they're all guilty.
Yeah, they're clearly all a mess. Like you said, the fact that it's like, oh, they were together, now I'm married to them. She's messaging all of us, but then also only messaging him.
Yeah.
Look, you either tell your husband to like block her number, which is a easily doable thing, or you put up with it. Like, I don't know what your other option here is.
Yeah, I mean, it's blocking, it's making everything private. My Instagram page is private right now because I have some messy broad who I'm just like, lady, we both fucked the same guy. Like, we both just have to accept that it was a mess and that I've now moved on. You have not moved on. It's like people will dwell and obsess on stuff. And if you feed into it, it's just going to make it worse.
Yeah.
And at some point you have to be like, I'm not going to feed into this anymore. I'm going to whatever, block you, make my shit private, whatever it takes to just be like, girl, it's over. I don't know. That's a weird one. Wait,
it's a weird one.
You read the beginning again?
Yeah. My husband and I just got married. We have only one problem, his ex-girlfriend. She used to be my best friend, but we fell out a few years ago.
Yeah, you fell out because
you started fucking her boyfriend, I'm assuming.
Yeah, something. Absolutely. It's very, that one's like, it's like, no, you also deserve to be harassed by this woman.
I would also like to ask this question. How old do you think these people are? Because
I mean, if they're on social media and being all active on, on all that stuff, then they could be anywhere between 30 and 45,
I hear you, but what 30-year-old is writing Dear Abby? You know what I mean? This feels like the entire just feels like the purview of the old. Like, I can't imagine someone 12 years younger than me writing the newspaper or reading the newspaper.
You're right. I stand corrected. You're right. Yeah, that's interesting.
So these are like older, messy people.
Old, messy people, which is the worst.
Oh, I think it's hilarious. You get a lot of letters when you do this, when you go into Dear Abby, there's a lot of letters in like nursing home drama, retirement community drama, very common. And I like the idea that people's messiness doesn't go like, you're kind of raised to think as you get older, all that, you're going to figure everything out and all that shit's going to go away. And no, it's not. You're just going to be a messy bitch till you die. And I think that's hilarious.
That's funny. Yeah. I mean, some people are, wired that way. Where the hell did Amy go?
Did we lose Amy this whole time?
Yeah.
Oh, we did. We'll
taking a shit. Do you think she's taking a shit?
She's probably, her and those dogs are taking a shit.
Taking a shit.
Just together.
Yeah, we should pause and wait for her.
Yeah.
I just love that she wasn't like, hey, give me a second, guys.
Yeah. I mean, I'm assuming she crashed, but we'll find out in a second.
No, I mean, she muted herself.
Oh, that's also true. Yeah.
She really. So, Chris,
oh my God, I have no idea, but I just straight up started puking. That's what Amy just texted me.
I just saw. Yeah, no, she texted both of us.
Yeah.
And I will now. Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
I really made it to the fucking thing. She was really affected by that Dear Abby lover. Really? It was triggered. She was triggered.
That's too funny.
Oh wow.
Word. Well, give her a minute to get back. I'm gonna come back in a minute. Yeah. Word. Yeah, I'm fucking.
Girl, are you okay? What happened?
Yeah.
Dude, I just realized too, I'm recording my own audio. So
just heard all of that.
I gotta cut this out because not this part, but I just right before we started recording. Why am I laughing? I feel like shit.
Did you drink water? Drink water.
I slammed some Vaughn's sushi and I think my body just rejected it. But I was doing fine, and then all of a sudden I'm like, I think I'm gonna fucking throw up right now. I'm so glad I stopped the audio.
Yeah, I'm glad you stopped the video
And I just
the
like
audio.
ran. There's still puke in the thing.
No.
I hope Amy never hears this.
Oh. I got news for you. The lady from Modern Family's not listening to this podcast. You're fine.
That's funny.
Not in it. Her daughter's in it. Oh my god, I'm so
Don't
sorry.
Did you drink water right now?
Yeah,
though?
get some water.
Not
Drink
yet.
water,
Get some
girl.
water.
Drink
Go get
some
some
water.
Well, we're almost done, right?
Yeah, but also go get some
Yeah,
water.
you
We
need
can wait
water.
5 minutes.
Yeah.
Go get some water.
Fine.
And we'll
You
do
need to,
10
yeah. I'm not
Okay,
gonna have
hold
you
on.
dehydrated and then you fucking pass out.
Yeah,
She's crazy.
Hit your head on that desk or some shit.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
All right, Amy, you good? You got some water? You okay?
Yeah, I never throw up. This is so
That
funny.
sucks.
That sucks. I'm sorry
I
to
know. Well, that's when you bully fat people. This is what happens.
hear. You get karma. The food karma got you.
I didn't want the calories to stay in there.
Your body was like, oh my god, is someone calling us fat? Puke it out,
Yeah.
girl.
I don't. I also like this is so gross. But I didn't want to puke on the dishes,
Right.
and so I barfed in the side that doesn't have the garbage disposals. There's a whole situation over there. Never let me house sit for you. It's so gross. It's all rice and avocado and tuna.
All right, we'll go ahead and wrap this up here. Maybe it's pretty gross. You got 10 minutes in you, Amy, before
It's really gross. Yeah.
That's very funny. All right, I'm gonna do a clap.
I can't believe that happened.
We'll come back. I'm gonna.
Oh, you're not keeping all
I
this?
can. Look, I think it's hilarious. It's up to you.
Yeah, I don't
Okay,
care.
then we'll just keep it moving.
She's just gonna cut out the puking sounds.
Yeah,
I have to cut that.
Funny.
That's some ASMR shit that people will need to be into.
Here's the thing, bitch. You're puking, and we were still trying to give advice because I was like, we at least need to get to the end of this thought and then inquire where Amy is. So, if he has it all together, it's gonna be me being like, well, trying to give serious advice, and it's you in the background.
And then I was like, I had a break in the puke, and so I went to a toilet, and then I was texting you guys over here.
Oh, that's too funny. All right. Well, let's do one more letter, and then we'll get out of here so you can go clean up that sink.
So disgusting.
It is.
It's really gross,
pretty funny,
Marcella.
though.
It's not even funny.
It is funny, actually.
Pretty funny. One last loser, and we'll get out of here.
Dear Abby, I was podcasting, and then I just started throwing up for no reason. What do I
Get
do?
a
My
stronger
friends are
stomach,
bullying me.
bitch.
She's gonna assume you have an eating disorder or something. It's gonna be very dramatic.
There's two sides to this story. All of a sudden, the sushi doesn't have a voice.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, bonds. Yeah, you're really victim blaming this sushi chef. Yeah.
Dear Abby, I have a relationship problem I hope you can help me with. I have loved this woman for years. We grew up together. We parted because I had to move away to Japan. Well, a few years ago, we met again. We began to communicate, and all of my feelings for her rushed back after all these years. I know she doesn't feel the same way about me. How can I let her know how bad it hurts, this unrequited love? Signed, Smitten in the West. Can I answer that question for him? And then you can tell me if I'm wrong.
In the West.
Shut the fuck up and leave that woman alone. That's the only thing you can do. Am I not crazy about that?
You're right. Not only is this person a loser, they're an ugly loser, which is the worst kind.
It was coming.
I mean, I do look.
I disagree. I think a hot loser is way worse because you're like,
what's
why
your
aren't you using your good
what's your
looks? You have
excuse?
nothing else.
Yeah, but he wouldn't be in this scenario if he was a hot loser. Like he would at least be able to hook up with her, you know.
That's
But
true.
it's unrequited because he's ugly. Because if they were pals and he should be able to talk her into some shit, but he can't because he's ugly, and that's the reality.
You should be a therapist. Marcella.
I thought about it. For some reason it wasn't taking. My clients were like, I don't know about them.
Yeah, there should be a service where
just leave her
Marcella
alone.
just tells you the uncomfortable truth that your therapist won't actually tell you, and it's just that you're ugly. $500, please. I don't know how much therapy
He
costs.
sounds like someone who lives in Seaside, Oregon, and tells people he lives on the West Coast. It's like, I mean, technically, yeah, but you don't. Stop saying you Smitten in the West.
Smitten, I don't like. I don't
coward.
like. Can I also add why I think he's a loser?
Oh, gross.
He had to move to Japan. You're a scumbag. I don't like you.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like there is that. First off, he's white, no question.
Exactly.
And any white dude that like you didn't have to move to Japan, you chose to, and I don't trust your instincts.
Yeah, he was trying to get a quiet, submissive Asian bitch, and that didn't work out because he's ugly, and I don't care how submissive he thinks these Asian women are. They still love a cutie pie. They can be very vain, those Asian women.
Again, I'm saying nothing.
Oh, why don't you go?
You're allowed to speak about Asian women. It's okay. I don't know if that's true. You may be not allowed to speak. I'm probably certainly.
I am always
for everyone who's listening right now. Amy's holding her right now. She's about to talk into the mic, but I'm telling her she shouldn't do that.
She's like saying somebody peed in her Coke. I don't even understand why she was doing it.
I never trust like a white American man who's a loser who just moves to Japan. Yeah. That's exactly what they're always trying to do. And like, it's so sad. It's like, no, yeah, exactly. They have standards too, bitch. Yeah. Like, you can't be a fucking dork and just scrape up all the Japanese girls you want.
Yeah, it's not like you move. Look, I can understand. Like, this is going to be wild shitty. And I've never watched 90 Day Fiancé, but if I'm correct about that show, it is like mail order brides, right? It's kind of, that's the situation, I think. And husbands, but it's that, right?
It's so mail order people.
Sorry, it's mail order they thems. If you go to, you can probably pull that shit in a third world country. Mm-hmm. You can go be a loser ass American with some money in your pocket in a third world country.
So fucking funny. That is so 100% accurate. Like they go to Vietnam and they take a beautiful woman.
They're always so
pretty.
And they're dudes are disgusting.
Right? I'm not trying to be a piece of shit. They're desperate, right?
They want to get out of there. It's not great.
You know where they're not desperate? Japan.
Not at all.
A wildly industrialized, wealthy nation. They don't need your loser ass because you've got less money than them.
That ramen is so good.
Yeah. I mean,
don't say ramen.
I was going to say they even make sushi.
You know, I had sushi at the fish market. In Japan, that was one thing we did. It was really good. It tasted it was fresh and delicious.
Listen, I checked the date too. I was like, oh, this was packaged today. I think they changed those stickers. I don't trust it.
That sounds right.
The avocado was a little bit I'm not saying they're sneaky. I'm saying
Amy.
I'm saying Vaughn's needs to get it together.
Yeah, there's a joke there, like trying to say they, them. And then someone's like, they? Pronouns. And you're like, you get called a racist for trying to be gender progressive. Anyways, okay.
You should write that.
The ultimate answer to this person is, and to anyone who finds themselves in this situation, and the clue is the sentence, I know she doesn't feel the same way about me.
That is so sad.
Then fuck off, man. Like, if you know, it's not even you assume, or I think there may be a chance. I don't know. I know, which means she's told him.
Yeah.
Which means fuck off, man.
Yeah.
And like for your own mental health and sanity, you might have to just not talk to this person, and kind of deal with that. And like, look, it's not healthy for me to be friends with you because I'm into you more than that, and you're not. But like, you don't get to force her into it.
No, get your shit together. Learn to love yourself. Listen, we all have unrequited love, but when it's ever happened to me, I'm like, you don't like me?
Right.
You're gross now. You disgust me.
Well, it's also the thing of like when it's unrequited love and then people think they have to keep the friendship after the love is unrequited. That I hate that. I'm like, dog, ruin the friendship. It's not.
Yeah, you have other friends.
Well, it's also just like when people want to be friends with the opposite sex, it's like, no, men are terrible friends. This man is a terrible friend. They don't know how to be friends. Certainly not with straight women. And it's like,
Chris is a good friend.
I don't know. She don't know me. That's fine. She don't know me like that.
No,
okay.
I'll know him, and then I'll give you a review in a year if he's a good friend.
Look, I'm not one of these not all men, whatever. You're right. Like, men are pretty.
I know, Amy. What's wrong with you?
Emotionally shitty things. It takes you got to be 40 something before you can.
I've had like guy friends that I trusted that took advantage of me in vulnerable situations. And I look back like, people think this guy is great, and he is great. Like he is actually like a good person, but in that moment it was like, whoa, I thought we were pals. And then it's like, it's just so weird what the human brain is capable of and like what we will all like excuse for ourselves. So like, I also wonder if this chick is like stringing him along because she knows he's obsessed with her. You know how like, you know, women, she could be a beautiful woman who's stringing this idiot along and being like, oh, I just love to cuddle with you or whatever. One of those fucking broads. I mean, it doesn't sound like that, but I'm just saying that there's that possibility that he could be sticking around because she's kind of exploiting his feelings, which is also horrible. That's not your friend,
so
you know?
Shitty. That's not a good friend.
Yeah.
I'm not getting that vibe. Again, because of the sentence, I know she doesn't feel that way. So like, it's probably not
I was
that.
just trying to be nice to this ugly motherfucker. Okay.
Yeah, no need. This piece of shit can go fuck himself. You guys, that was awesome. I'm gonna let Amy go. Wow. I'm gonna let Amy go clean up the vomit in her sink. You got anything you want to plug before you go? Not your sink.
Just listen to my podcast. Who's Your God?
Who's Your God?
I guess.
A hilarious
That's
podcast.
pretty much it.
I'm supposed to be on it in the next 3 to 6 years.
I asked you, bitch.
No, I'm gonna get it.
No.
I respect that move so much.
Well,
it's so hard to just say no to a podcast sometimes.
Not me.
Like, no, it's not.
I say no all the time.
We know. But my point is for other people that aren't maybe as
I love to say no. God, I love a boundary. Shout out to let's circle this back to that 5-year-old little cunt who loves to tell people no and like just insult them. Like that's the thing. I'm at a point where I finally have to take the insult out and I'm like, no thanks.
Yeah. That's
hard.
Cool.
Thanks for thinking of me.
Marcella, where can people find you on the internet? Anything you want to plug?
At Marcella Comedy, I have absolutely nothing going on, so whatever.
If you're in Los Angeles, there's a rooftop coming up. You can go see it.
It's sold out.
No, you can't. Go fuck yourself. You can't see her. You're too late.
It's going to be good, too.
I'm at Chris Cubis on all social media. If you like the show, rate, review, subscribe. Give us a little 5 stars on Amazon. If you're on Apple, sorry. If you're in Austin, Texas, and you need
corporate pig.
If you need a free meal in Austin, Texas, go to redbeansaustin.com. We make free meals every Sunday. You can sign up on Tuesday. We'll get a meal to your house on Sunday. And we'll be back next week with more bad advice.